Nana Isi bows her head, tears glistening. Then the ancestors will rejoice. Together, we will guide him. The great bird lowers its vast wings, brushing both Kofi and Nana Isi with feathers that shimmer in the firelight. In that moment, the bond between forest, spirit, and people is sealed. From then on, Kofi lived between two worlds. By day, he visited the village with Nana Isi, who taught him to speak properly, to read the stars, to know herbs and healing. By night, he returned to the forest, where Nuru still fed him, guarded him, and whispered secrets in the language of wings. The villagers, who once feared him, began to respect him. They saw how he moved with animals, as if they were his brothers. How he healed wounds with herbs no one else knew. How he carried wisdom far beyond his years. When Kofi became a man, though still very young but filled with wisdom, strong and tall, the chief of the village called him forth. Kofi, you are not like other young men, the chief said. You were raised by the forest, and the bird is your spirit guide. The ancestors spared your life for a reason. You must lead, heal, and protect. But Kofi only bowed his head. I am just a boy who was hungry, and the bird fed me. I am just a child who cried, and the forest answered. Still, word of him spread far beyond the village. Strangers traveled to see the young man with the great bird always at his side. Mothers brought their sick children, and Kofi healed them. Warriors and hunters asked his counsel before hunting or war. Elders bowed to his wisdom, though he was young. During the harvest festival, Kofi's eyes met those of Oma, a woman of beauty and grace. She was gentle, wise, and kind. They became friends. Kofi told her his story. When she heard it, she wept. If the bird saved you, she said, then it was so that one day you could save many others. Kofi and Oma fell in love and they were married, with drums beating and the village dancing for 3 days. Nuru circled above them, blessing the union. Kofi and Oma were blessed with 3 children. Yor, the pathfinder, who never lost his way in the forest. Akua, the gentle rain, whose touch brought healing. Kojo, the voice of fire, whose words carried power and truth. The people said, these children are gifts of the ancestors, proof that sorrow can give birth to blessing. At night, Kofi told them of their grandmother, Ajua, who gave her life for him. Never forget, he said. The world can be cruel, but the ancestors always send a way. Years later, a traveler arrived in the village. Old, tired, and broken by life. His face was worn, but his eyes still carried the pride of a man who once thought he was strong. When he saw Kofi, he froze. For Kofi's face was the mirror of Ajua's. It was Kwame, the man who had denied his own blood, who had left Ajua to suffer alone. He trembled when he realized the truth. I am your father, Kwame whispered, tears streaming down his face in shame. I was young, ridiculous, senseless. I abandoned you and your mother. Forgive me. Kofi. Please. Please. Forgive me, please. Kofi stood silently. He remembered nothing of his father, only his mother suffering, her body on the farm, his cries unanswered. He looked at Kwame with eyes heavy like the forest itself. Finally, he said, you are not the one who raised me. You are not the one who saved me. My father is the forest. My mother is the memory of Ajua. My guardian is the Nuru the Great. Kwame fell to his knees, sobbing. Kofi turned away, his heart both heavy and free. Kwame blamed himself. Back in the city, Kwame remembered how he got married to 3 different women, and none of them was able to give him a child. And each of the marriage ended in violence. Kwame, he said to himself, you lost everything, you are old, poor, no wife, not even a child of your own. Wish I can close my eyes and vanish from this world, yes. Karma is real and it has really dealt with me. He cried like a child and walked away in shame. In time, Kofi became a legend. They called him the child of the bird. Songs were sung of how a baby abandoned by men was lifted by the wings of nature, how sorrow gave birth to strength, and how the forest raised the boy into a man of wisdom. But Kofi's story did not end with wisdom alone. Through his healing gifts and knowledge of the forest, he attracted people from far and wide. Traders, farmers, and chiefs brought him gifts of gold, livestock, and land in gratitude. With this wealth, Kofi did not live for himself, he built for others. He raised schools so children could learn, an orphanage named Ajua's Home, in honor of his mother, and houses for widows and the poor. He opened a place called the Table of Mercy, where no one went hungry. His village grew into a town, and his town into a thriving community, because he believed wealth was a river meant to flow, not a stone to be hoarded. To honor the great bird who had once sheltered him, Kofi built a vast sanctuary called Nuru the Great Eagle. It was more than a zoo, it was a home where wild animals were cared for with dignity, where the sick were healed, and where no creature was haunted or caged in cruelty. Eagles, especially, were treated with reverence, their nest guarded and their young raised in safety. The people came to see them, not as prey, but as living blessings of the sky. Kofi became not only a healer and leader, but a father to many, both man and creature. His name lived not in riches but in kindness, and his people said, "The boy of the bird has given us wings." The day came when Nuru, the great eagle, spread her mighty wings to return to the sky. The village gathered, hearts heavy, yet full of gratitude. Some wept, knowing they might never see her again. Others smiled, remembering all she had given. Nuru's voice carried in the wind. "Kofi, son of Ajua, today I return to the heavens. But do not fear, I will visit again, on the day you too shall leave this earth. Until then, I will be with you, in joy and in sorrow, not in body, but in spirit." And as Nuru rose into the clouds, the people lifted their hands, torn between tears and joy. For though her wings were gone from sight, her presence remained in every breath of the way. In the land of Kofi, the memory of Nuru the Great lived on. No longer just a bird, Nuru became a sacred symbol of hope and blessing. The people said, "Where the eagle soars, the spirit of Nuru watches." From that time onward, eagles were never hunted or harmed in Kofi's land. They were honored, protected, and greeted with reverence. Children were told, if an eagle crosses your path, blessings from God will soon find you. Thus, the bond between the land and the bird endured, a friendship sealed by love, sacrifice, and destiny. And so, the people walked with faith, knowing that every shadow of an eagle's wings was a reminder that they were under heaven's protection. The end. Please tell us in comment section what you learned from this story.
Thank you so much for watching, your support means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, so more people can enjoy these stories. Stay blessed.